Hi there, Jan Dijkers from Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, the Loft Warehouse. It's that time of year. It's property tax season, and the summer 2023 City of Detroit tax bills are out. So in this video, I am going to walk you through how to read your tax bill and how to make sure that it is correct so that you are not leaving any money on the table if there are errors contained within. So let's get started. I have blocked off identifying information for this particular property to keep it private. So up here at the top, you will see the property address for the tax bill in question. And then it will identify that it's 2023 and the summer tax bill. If you want to pay your bill and you want to send a check in, there's many different ways to pay, but if you want to send a check, this is the address at the top. And then this goes over the summer and winter tax bill periods. So the summer bill that we're looking at started July 1st and it goes through June 30th of next year. Now over here, this blacked out area will have the taxpayer and the mailing address. So if the taxpayer or the mailing address are not correct for this property, it means that you probably did not submit your property transfer affidavit, or maybe you moved and you have to change the address. And if you need to do that, you can reach out to the City of Detroit assessor by emailing them at assessors@detroitmi.gov, or just ask me and I'll send you that address. And you can make any corrections through them. So now let's talk about this area right here of the bill. So the blacked out section is the parcel number. This is a numeric string of numbers that identify the property by a number. Every parcel in the entire city is identified by a number that corresponds to the mailing address for the most part. We'll also talk about the school district. Everything in Detroit should be the Detroit School District, so they all should have that same number. And then below that is the state equalized value. The state equalized value is supposed to be half of the market value of the property. Now, that can vary in the city of Detroit. Sometimes that number is lower than half the market value, and that means that you're just being underassessed for your taxes. Or that number could be higher than half the market value and your property is being overassessed and you have a pretty good case for a tax appeal in February of next year. All right, so now the state equalized value can go up or down depending on the value of the property from year to year. If the value of the property goes up, that number can go up. The value of the property goes down, it can go down. But the number below that, this is what actually affects the taxes that you pay, the taxable value. So the taxable value can go down if the value has gone down from year to year, but it can only go up 5% a year or the rate of inflation, whichever is less. Now, as you know, inflation has been a hot topic within the past couple years. So inflation is definitely higher than 5%. So we saw a 5% increase from year over year from last year. This number is what your taxes are based on. So you take that number, you multiply by the millage rate, and we will talk about the millage rate in the section to the left shortly. You divide by 1,000, and that's how you would calculate your taxes for the year. Now, if the taxable value and the state equalized value are the same number, it probably means that you bought your property last year, because when you buy a property, the taxable value uncaps to meet the state equalized value. And then after that, it just can only go up 5% a year. So the year after you buy a property, you can see a significant increase depending on how different the taxable value and the state equalized value are from each other. And then after that, you can only see that 5% a year increase no matter how much your property goes up in value. And that just keeps people from getting priced out of their neighborhoods and allows people to plan their tax burden from year over year. And it is something that is probably very specific to the state of Michigan. I think in other states around the country, I have seen that if your property value goes up significantly, your taxes go up significantly. So this is something that helps keep the taxes reasonable after you buy the property. Now moving down one more line, this is the PRE, which stands stands for principal residence exemption. You can see here that value is 0, which means that this is a non-owner occupied property and the taxpayer has to pay the school tax, which we will talk about in the section to the left when we get over there. If it says if you live in the property as your primary residence, it should say 100%. And if you live in a duplex, let's say, and you only occupy half the property as your primary residence, you may see that it says 50%. Or for a quadruplex, it would be 25%. So you want to just check that and make sure that that number is accurate to your specific circumstances. If you are supposed to have 100% PRE and you don't, it may mean that you didn't file your principal residence exemption after you purchased the property. That can be corrected by filing that with the assessor. If you have any questions about that, reach out to me directly and I can help walk you through it. And then the line after that is residential property class. In this case, it's a residential improved property. So it's a residential area and it has an improvement on it, meaning a house. It's not vacant land. TIF district, this has to do with some kind of funding going back to the city for a specific purpose, not relevant in this case. And if there was a mortgage on the property, then it would state the lender that is paying the tax bill on behalf of the taxpayer. In this case, there is no lender involved in the specific. It either means that there is no mortgage on the property, or it just means that the lender is not paying your taxes for you, that the taxpayer is paying them separately. And then moving down to partial property description, this blacked out area will have the legal address. It's just another way to reference the property outside of the common mailing address and the parcel ID number up here. Just another way to describe the property. Usually has to do with the original farm that was divided up into individual lots. And it's a way that surveyors often can reference a property and where its location is in a particular area. All right, so now we're talking about this area right here, which goes over the millage and how your tax dollars are divided up into different segments of the city and county. So this lists all of the areas where your money goes. You have state education, that's 6 mills. General city, that's the biggest one. That's 19, almost 20 mills. Debt service, which I understand will be going away in a few years, or at least some of it, because we are pretty close to paying off our debts with the city. The library, school debt, school operating. Now, the school operating is only going to be paid by non-owner occupants, people that do not have that 100%. Then you've got county, more county, and school operating FC. This is shown up on all the tax bills this year. This is a 0 value line item. I do not know why it's there. It is the same millage as the school operating up here, but there's no money going towards it. And I haven't seen any tax bill, so I don't know why it's in there. And then the last one is the solid waste fee. This is money towards trash and recycling, and that's a flat fee. So just to give you an example, the state education is 6 mills. If you multiply that 6 mills times this $28,350 taxable value and divide by 1,000, you will get this number right here, $170.10. So all of these mills add up to 76. Now you do have to subtract the 17 for the school operating FC, which has a 0 value here, to get the true summer millage rate. And if you add up all of the taxes here, that is your final tax bill. I don't know why they're showing this solid waste fee here, because they actually added in here instead. So I think that's new for this year, the way they're representing some things. But if you add all of these up until the 240, you're going to get that 21.60 and 90 cents. Then you add in the solid waste fee, then you add in an admin fee, and you get your total tax bill for summer bill. There is a winter bill that's going to come out in December. The mills are much smaller. They're around 9, I believe, 9 and some change. So it's a much smaller bill in the winter. And so if you take the total, the city allows you to pay that in 2 different parts. Part 1 is due August 15th. Part 2 is due January 15th at the same time as the winter bill, which comes out. But if you want to pay the whole summer bill, that's going to be due by August 31st. And that's kind of detailed over here as far as your options. There are a few ways to pay this bill. So you can do that through the DivDat mobile app. You can download that. That one is super easy. You can do bill pay. You can pay online through the BS&A, but you're going to pay some fees, credit card fees and such to do that. The DivDat app is free if you use your bank account and not a credit card. Or you could just good old fashioned mail that thing in, just tear off this bottom section, put in the amount you're paying and mail that to the city. So if you have the neighborhood enterprise zone tax abatement, then you will have 2 of these bills. So if you believe you have NEZ, but you only got 1 bill, reach out to me. I will help you figure out if for some reason you don't have NEZ or you're just missing a bill. And you can always go online to the BS&A website and look up both of your parcels and information on there. That's super easy. If you register your parcels as owned, there's no fee to do that. And I would also, if this is the first year that you have NEZ and this is the first year that you're getting 2 tax bills, you want to make sure that your lender has both of them. Most likely, one of the tax bills will have the lender information and the other will not. You're just going to want to send that second tax bill to your lender and make sure that they're paying both of them starting right away. Otherwise, one bill is going to get paid and one is not. And we definitely don't want that to happen. So thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions about your tax bill, you want me to take a look at it, you think something's weird is going on with it, you don't understand it, do reach out to me, scan me a copy, send me an email. I'm happy to walk through it with you. And if you are getting value out of these super nerdy tax videos, and then shoot me a message and let me know. I would love to make more content for you that helps you be a better citizen, a more educated taxpayer in the city of Detroit. Thanks so much.